Hello, and welcome back to Drink a Little Lead with Me, your music podcast dedicated to art songs. My name is Ita. This is the 7th episode and our last episode of the first season. Today, my guest is Mariana Piuzana, a Brazilian soprano. Today, we are going to bring you Brazilian songs by Claudio Santoro and Valmar Henrique. So, Mariana, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
It's a very special episode for me. We started this project since last year.
Yeah.
And the first official episode came out in January 2023, and now we're in December. So it's a 1 year
journey.
Yes, I'm so happy that I'm doing this one with you for Brazilian songs. Yeah, tell us about you. Where do you come from and your musical background?
Yeah, so as you said, my name is Mariana Piuzana. I come from Brazil. I am 29 years old. And I moved to Basel in 2020 to do my master's degree in performance at the Musikakademie here. Mm-hmm. And in my family, we don't have any musicians. I am the first one. Mm. And I mean, in my house, we always listen to a lot of music. Most of the times it was more like international pop, like Beatles, Bee Gees, this kind of things, and also a lot of Italian music. But yeah, no musicians in my family. But for me, everything started when one day I went to the church with my mom. And there I saw for the first time a choir singing live. Mm-hmm. And this experience really touched me a lot. It really changes me. Mm-hmm. And I remember that I was even not paying attention to the mass because I was really concentrated in how the choir was sounding and everything. And in the end of the mass, I told my mom that I wanted to be part of this group. So we went to talk with the conductor, and in the end, me and my mom started to sing in the choir.
Your mom also?
Yeah, my mom also. And later my sister also came to sing in the choir. Yeah, but for me, everything started like this. Mm-hmm. And then little by little, I started to learn music, like theory, and also to have some singing lessons. Yes. And this was around 14 years old. Mm-hmm. And when I was around 18, I entered in the university of my city. Belo Horizonte is the name of my city. And it's the federal university, so it's a university like a public one that the government organizes everything. And I was around 18, so there I really started to study classical music and really go deeper in this universe that for me it was completely new. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I met very good friends, I learned a lot. And I did very nice projects. And when I finished the university, the bachelor, I was working in a choir in my city, but I always dreamed to come here to Europe to study classical music. And then I collected all the courage I had and I came here to try it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm happy that it worked. And yeah, I'm very grateful for everything I learned here and that I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful. I find myself having some similarities parkour as you. I mean, I started to play guitar when I was really, really young, like 5-year-old, but it wasn't in like conservatoire or academic system of school. So I didn't learn musical theory and stuff. I would say I really started to learn classical music when I was 18, when I arrived to France or something like that. Yeah. And I'm also 29-year-old. Yeah. And also people in Taiwan in general would also think that learning classical music, somehow you should go to Europe as the same way that you described, because this music was born in this culture. Yeah. So these arts are everything connected. Simply like if you walk on the streets and you see the architectures.
Yeah, what I always thought is that I wanted to drink from the source, you know, and it was born here. So I think it was the clever and best solution to come here to learn this music. For example, samba was born in Brazil, so if someone is clever, it will go to Brazil and learn samba there. And that's why I wanted to come here. And like, for example, we singers, we sing in so many different languages. Most of the times, Italian, German, French. And Brazil is such a huge country. And even like we have many Spanish countries speaking in the South America, but it's so far away from us that personally, I started to speak Spanish when I moved to here. So in Brazil, I didn't speak Spanish. So, and here, like if you cross the border, you're already in France, you're already in Germany. So the contact with the language is also much easier here. And I think everything helps us also to gather information to improve in our artistic performance.
Definitely. Yeah. For the cultural aspect or the language, for sure, being here in Switzerland, especially Basel, such a international city.
Yes.
We could get a lot of resources.
I heard and I learned things here that, I mean, no one or very few people speak about in Brazil, like the details and also about style. Yeah, it's just easier to get these informations here than in Brazil.
Is it a sort of a collective thinking? Do people who study music in university have the same thoughts as you, or is it a very personal thing?
I think so, because more and more we see like people from my generation and the new generation trying to come out of Brazil and coming here to study music. And I think in the future, I hope it changes, and like everyone that is here outside can in a moment go back to Brazil and share also a bit of all this knowledge, and that in the future people don't have to this doesn't have to be a must to come here to learn all these things. But right now, in general, I would say it's a common thing. Yeah, common thinking.
And I'm so happy that you suggested Santoro's music at the beginning, because I didn't know this composer at all. Was he a famous composer in Brazil?
Yeah, he is one of the greatest we have many classical composers in Brazil, not just Villa-Lobos, as many people think.
No Villa-Lobos song today, sorry.
He's also a very, very good composer, but we have many other ones also. And Claudio Santoro is one of them. He wrote many things for voice and also for piano and other instruments. Yeah, but I know more the things he wrote for voice. Yeah, and he has many songs. Usually it's for voice and piano, but it's common that sometimes we do arrangements for a guitar, because it's an instrument very dear to us in Brazil. Many people play guitar. It's very part of our culture. And I think the classical Brazilian songs, they really sound good with the guitar, so it's kind of common thing to do these arrangements. Yeah.
Also, you sang them already when you were in Brazil?
Yes, with piano and with guitar.
Wow. Yes. Must have been quite different experience.
Yeah, it's very different. I think with the guitar we are kind of more exposed.
Totally.
But it's also, I don't know, it's more intimate, and I think it creates a different atmosphere than when we sing with piano. And yeah, it's very special.
I liked our first song, The Light of My Dear Love. I mean, can we translate this way in English? I don't know. My love, the light from my dear love? Luar de meu bem.
Luar de meu bem, it would be more like the... Luar is more moonlight, so the moonlight of my beloved one. I think it would be a better translation.
Okay. Yeah. So is it like because the beloved one, it's shining so much for the person who is in love, so he's...
Yeah, I think normally like the moon the picture of the moon is a lot related with the couples and love, and especially distance love relationships. And I don't know, because from everywhere everyone can see the moon.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because the moonlight is on both, even though they are not in the same place. Yeah.
And I think the story of this song was exactly telling what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about the story?
So in this song, it's more or less comparing the distance of the moon with the ocean, and this distance love relationship that the self-lyric has with the beloved one. So it says that even though the moon is so far away from the ocean, it still touches the ocean with the moonlight. And even though the beloved one is so far away, I keep thinking about this person. So it kind of compare like this relationship with the relationship of the self-lyric. And in the end, it says that it talks with the saudade, which is a very strong and very Brazilian word.
It's a big topic to discuss.
This feeling, and says that, we are far away and I still love you, I still think about you, but this is also a despair for me. So I don't want to be so far away from you anymore, but I still think about you.
But the accompaniment somehow, it's so groovy, and the music is written in a very light way.
Yeah.
How do you explain this contradictions between the melancholy, longing emotions and the sort of rhythmical, groovy?
I think because saudade is already a very contradictory emotion. It's a mix of different feelings, and it's a feeling like that can hurt because you miss someone, but at the same time it's a good feeling because if you miss someone, it's because you love this person. So it's like
both sides.
Yeah, it's both sides. So, and in the song we have like the more happy, groovy part, but also we have the più lento, a bit slower part. And I think it also shows like different sides of the music and different sides of this feeling. And yeah, I would say that.
O meu amor mora longe, tão longe que nem sei mais. A lua no céu também mora longe, mas brilha no mar. Assim o meu bem, que quanto mais além, mais me faz pensar. Saudade, meu desespero, é minha consolação. Diz ao meu bem que eu não quero sentir mais saudade, não. O meu amor mora longe, tão longe que nem sei mais. A lua no céu também mora longe, mas brilha no mar. Assim o meu bem, que quanto mais além, mais me faz pensar. Saudade, meu desespero, é minha consolação. Diz ao meu bem que eu não quero sentir mais saudade, não.
In the case of Santoro, where were he born and where did he?
He was born in the north of Brazil, in Manaus is the name of the city. And he lived a while in Paris, but I think in the end of his life he was in the capital of Brazil, Brasilia. Yeah.
You also told this story that he was in Russia and then
Yeah.
he had a impossible love story with
Yeah.
his translator.
Yeah, because there was a moment of his life he wanted to go to the US. I don't know if to study or to work.
Make career.
But his visa was denied because he was already involved with communist and socialist ideas. But he also tried to go to Paris, and there he was approved. And while he was there, he went to many communist countries, one of them Russia. And while he was there, he always had a translator following him everywhere to help him with the language. And apparently his name was Leah, and he dedicated many, many songs to her. And
Including our songs?
Including our songs, yes.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, and then apparently they fall in love, and the government discovered, and they said that he couldn't return to Russia anymore. And they don't know we don't know a lot about Leah. Apparently she was a wife of one of the employees of KGB. So because of her husband was involved in the politics, maybe they wanted to split them both. So he had to return to Paris and she stayed in Russia. And they were exchanging many love letters, and he was always hoping that she would run to him in Paris, but this never happened. Exactly during this time, the poet of those songs that we are doing now, Vinícius de Moraes, he was in Paris. So they got together during this time and they did many songs, including the songs we are presenting today. And yeah, through you can see the whole background that he was living in his life with this love story, impossible love story. And then we have these songs that talks about this love that cannot happen. So it's interesting to compare his life moment with the songs he did at this time.
But Santoro also wrote the second song in the same cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, the second song is already completely different universe. Yes.
Yeah.
It's very, you can really feel the loneliness in this song. And yeah, more going to the sad and melancholic part. Yeah, is a big contrast with the first one.
You made me discover one beautiful metaphor in the second song, that at the end there is this image of the wind bending the tree's bench, like if someone would hug his love.
Yeah. Yeah, because in Amor em Lágrimas, it starts showing all this melancholy in the nature. So you can see it talks about that the wind that sobs into the ocean, that sobs, that leans. Yeah, it talks about the wind that leans over the ocean. It talks about that the wind that leans over the trees and make the trees bend. Yeah. And in the last verse, finally, it talks about a person, not about the nature anymore. And then it says, let that this thirsty body lean over your own body and cries in solitude.
And sob with
and
passion.
Sob in passion, yeah.
Wow. You sob.
Yeah, you sob in passion. Yeah,
so much contradictory.
Yeah, it says, let that this thirsty body leans on you, on your own body, and sobs in passion. And so you can see you can compare the picture on the nature with the picture of the human beings. They both match. So yeah, somehow the human feelings are also translated to this nature picture.
Yeah, totally. Also, all the harmonies, the accompaniment with the arpeggio throughout the whole piece. It's really like the waves moving, and I think this one has the most strong picture for me, especially for the second strophe, that it makes a semitone lower in the modulations. For me, it's like in a movie's language that they tell the story of, okay, it's black and white movie, but only in the middle with more intense storyline, then put suddenly in color or reverse. Sometimes the whole movie is in color, but when you think of some memories or some very painful souvenirs, then it goes to black and white.
Yeah.
For me, it has really this effect.
Yeah. And suddenly it feels as if the time was stopping just for us to listen to this.
Yeah.
To this melody. Yeah.
Ouve o mar que soluça na solidão. Ouve o mar que soluça na mais triste solidão. E ouve os ventos que voltam dos espaços que ninguém sabe, sobre as ondas se debruçam e soluçam de paixão. E ouve amor no vento da noite, como as árvores ao vento, num lamento se debruçam e soluçam para o chão. Deixa amor que o carmo sedento, como as árvores e o vento, num teu corpo se debruce e soluce de paixão.
So let's go on with Tampataja, our next song. I think the Amazonian legend was one of the first songs that I want to do for this podcast, because I already know these cycles, and I arranged this song 1.5 years ago. So like even before I started the podcast. So yeah, I'm extremely happy that it happened. And I was also very surprised that you told me in one of our rehearsals that Brazil is such a big country that, like, for instance, for you who come from really south region, that you wouldn't know much about Amazonia and what's happened there.
Yeah, that's very true. The region where I lived in Brazil is the southeast. And if you look in the map, it's really far away from the
It is.
Amazonia region. And actually, it's very hard. It's very difficult to go there. You have to take an airplane, bus, maybe a boat to arrive there. And at school, we don't learn a lot about how are the cultures in the different regions of Brazil. So many of the foods that they eat there, I never ate before. Or, for example, in the songs of Valdemar Henrique about the Amazonia legends, I don't know many of the legends the stories that they have there. And yeah, this really is hard to arrive in the region where I come from. But it's nice that through the songs, I got to know many of the legends and the stories, which are really, really interesting. Yeah.
I like our folklore story in this song very much.
Yeah. This is the this cycle of songs that Valdemar Henrique did. It has, I think, 11 songs, and each song talks about a different legend, folklore story that is typical from the Amazonia region. And in this case, Tambataja is about Indian man, Anaru, that was really, really in love with his wife, and they were doing like everything together. But suddenly she got ill and she couldn't walk anymore. So he built like something to carry her on his back. So he was going everywhere with her on his back. But suddenly one day he felt that it was heavier than usually. And he discovered that she died on his back. But he didn't want to leave her. So he
dug a hole.
He did a hole on the earth, and he buried her and himself together. And after a while, the people around, they saw that a plant was growing there, and
that plant was Tambataja.
Yes, they called this plant Tambataja, and it's like a symbol of true love and also good luck. And yeah, the song is called Tambataja, the name of the plant. And it's basically like the self-lyric is making like a preach to the plant and hoping that his beloved one keeps loving only him and that the love will be true, and that, yeah, like praying to this plant that the love keeps going and keeps being true and good for both. Yeah.
Tambataja, me faz feliz, que meu amor me queira bem, que seu amor seja só meu, de mais ninguém, que seja meu, todinho meu, de mais ninguém. Tambataja, me faz feliz, assim o índio carregou sua macuxi para o roçado, para a guerra, para a morte, assim carregue nosso amor a boa sorte. Tambataja, 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 me faz feliz, que meu amor me queira bem, que seu amor seja só meu, de mais ninguém, que seja meu, todinho meu, de mais ninguém. Tambataja, me faz feliz, que mais ninguém possa beijar o que beijei, que mais ninguém escute aquilo que escutei, nem possa olhar dentro dos olhos que olhei. Tambataja,
And before we talk about our last song, I would like to ask you to describe the feeling of saudade.
I think for me, I mean, saudade is a mix of feelings. I think you cannot describe it just in one feeling. But I would say for me, it's more like a mixture of nostalgia, love, and longing. And I think it's a very intense feeling, both good and bad, because when you have saudade for someone or for something, it really can hurt you because you really wish you could have this again. But at the same time, it's something also positive because you just have saudade for something or for someone if you love, if you like this thing or this person. So because of this, I would say it's a good and a bad feeling at the same time.
When you mention good or bad, do you mean bad in a toxic way, or?
I would say bad in a hurting way, like when you are sad, you feel
bad.
I mean, bad. And when you have saudade, for example, I have saudade of my mom, for example, and it hurts because I wish I could be with her, but I cannot. But at the same time, it's good because I know that I love her so much, and that's why I miss her so much. So and you really wish you could. It's like more like a desperate, urgent feeling that you really wish you could have this person again, or you really wish you could live this moment again, but you cannot. So you just keep with the memory for the moment.
This song has tempo indication with moderato saltoso. From 1 to 10, how much saudade is that? How would you say?
Oh my God. I don't know, because the song starts just telling a story.
Yeah.
And then you have the B part when you know that something happened. And then you have the A part again in the end. And there you can really find the saudade feeling.
Because it's predictable.
Yes, I mean, when the self-lyric starts to tell the story, we already know what happened. He already knows what happened.
Yes.
In the end, so that's why maybe is moderato, because he's just telling the story, and then in the end you really know what happened. So I don't know, maybe that's why. But I would say maybe would be like a 6 or 7 of saudade, because it's not like from the beginning. If you listen for the first time, you don't know what happened in the story. You just know in the end.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a 6.
It's going more intense with the time.
Yes. Yeah. Once you discover really what happened, then you
hear it differently.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's incredible that he puts the parts exactly the same at the end again.
Yes.
With declamato.
Yeah, and in the end you have this indication of declamato, to more speaking the text than singing in a way. And I think this also brings this feeling of saudade more intense. Yeah.
So we are being very mysterious with the stories. The story is about a canoeist being alone on the sea, and that he likes to sing, and we also hear this echo of his singing.
Yes.
But then, and that he loved the sea so much.
Yeah.
And then the part B. And the first part, it was just like this landscape of a canoeist alone. But it's already a very intense landscape, because the canoeist is so little.
Yes.
It has so less material, and then it's alone.
And the canoeist goes under the moonlight, to work on the sea. It's in a way beautiful, but a bit loneliness picture. It's kind of loneliness job also. Yeah, he goes there under the moonlight, so we can imagine it's maybe, I don't know, 4 a.m. I don't know. And then he goes there alone and he has to stay a long time to work. Yeah, at the same time, the ocean, like he likes the ocean, but at the same time, he's kind of stuck there alone with his work. Yeah, it's also loneliness and melancholic.
Yeah.
But in the same way, beautiful picture.
Yeah. I remember you telling me in one of our rehearsals that I don't remember if it was the text who was suggesting that the ocean is so unpredictable that storm could come anytime, or that's usually when people do canoero. We know already somehow that he might not come back.
Yeah, I think that's also like one theme that appears a lot in the Brazilian classical art songs, the picture of the canoeist. And yeah, I mean, the ocean is unpredictable. So in some songs, we have this that the wife is waiting on the sand for the canoeist to come back, but you never know if he will come back or not because the ocean is very unpredictable. And I mean, that's what happens in the Valsinha do Marajó, because in the part B, it starts talking like how the work happens, that he goes very early in the morning, in a good mood, but then suddenly a thunderstorm comes and the canoeist is not back anymore. And then in the B part of the B part, if I could say like this, then you start to see like this feeling on the nature again once more. And it starts to say that the ocean, the waves are crying, and you can hear like a song, but it feels from very far away. And then you understand that in fact the canoeist is dead. He's
because the ocean was singing as his place.
Yes.
In the A part was the canoeist singing.
So then you understand that he will not come back anymore, and that's why then you have the A part again,
That's
more this
describing
this intense feeling. Yeah.
Quando a lua tão formosa, tão serena, banha de esplendor a praia com seus raios sobre o mar, uma esteira de luz guia a canoa que na noite constelada vai singrando o mar. Eu me lembro de bravo canoeiro que no mar seu cativeiro passa horas a cantar. O murmúrio vem de tão distante, canoeiro errante, teu amor é o mar. Quando a lua tão formosa, tão serena, banha de esplendor a praia com seus raios sobre o mar, uma esteira de luz guia a canoa que na noite constelada vai singrando o mar. Eu me lembro de bravo canoeiro que no mar seu cativeiro passa horas a cantar. O murmúrio vem de a brisa doce carrega, mas triste é quando se aproxima um temporal e o canoeiro bravo que partiu ainda não voltou. Onda, por que choram lágrimas cantantes? Tuas vagas rolam soluçantes sobre a alvura dessas praias cheias de luar. E escuta aquela voz que vem lá do infinito, canta um canto bonito que parece ser do próprio mar. Quando a lua tão formosa, tão serena, banha de esplendor a praia com seus raios sobre o mar. Uma esteira de luz guia a canoa que na noite constelada vai singrando o mar. Eu me lembro de um bravo canoeiro que no mar seu cativeiro passa horas a cantar. O murmúrio vem de tão distante, canoeiro errante, teu amor é o mar.
I'm just very curious about how the Christmas mood is in Brazil in general, because it must be summer right now there. And I've never been to any country who has Christmas in the summer mood. Yeah. Could you tell us a bit?
I think the idea of Christmas that we have in Brazil is very much based on the idea they have in the US. So the snow, the Christmas tree, and even though in Brazil it's very warm right now, if you go, for example, in the shopping malls, they have like the big trees and they have like fake snow somewhere in the tree or around, you know. And with this tradition of the Santa Claus cover in red, and
even if it's very hot.
Yes, even though it's very hot, you have all this, I mean, as you see here, but there in the hot sun, in the hot weather.
I always have this imagination of people celebrating Christmas at the beach, drinking cocktail because it can be warm.
Yeah, I think it's very like individual of each family. For example, in my family, we most of the times we go to my grandma's place, and the city where she lives is very warm. But even though we put a lot of makeup on the face, and even though we are sweating, we are there like putting the makeup.
Powder.
If you see the pictures, everyone is with shorts, short pants or a dress, and drinking a caipirinha or something like this. So no tea, no warm food, but this picture of the Christmas tree, the Santa Claus and snow is somehow there still. Yeah, I think most of the times people don't go to the beach to celebrate Christmas. It's more about staying in family. But for New Year's, then you see many people going to the beach in Brazil. Yeah.
Also, it's warm then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
A warm new year.
It's very nice, I have to say.
I think it is. Great. I'm very happy to finish the season and the episode in this Christmas mood.
Yeah.
Warm Christmas mood.
Yeah.
So now the podcast would come to the end. Where can we find you on the social media or your website?
Yeah, on Facebook or Instagram. You just have to write Mariana Piusana and you will find me there.
Follow up. Okay, thank you very much for today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to us today and throughout the entire season. This first season has been an unforgettable experience for me. I'm so grateful for all the feedback, encouragement, and the support we have received throughout the year. I want to thank to all the singers and musicians who had collaborated with us. I really learned a lot from you. Now we are going to make a little break, but hopefully the second season will be here online and meet all of you very soon. Make a comment here of how you like this episode today and share this podcast with your friends. If you did enjoy our music, consider making a donation on Bandcamp to support us. Hope to see you in the next Drink a Little with me. Ciao!